We have some catching up we have to do. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the top 3 most requested topics or video things that you guys want me to do. First and foremost, the electric eel aquarium. What's going on with it and what are you doing right now with it, including what is your future plans? Second, the piranha aquarium, 2,000 gallon piranha aquarium, and I haven't shown it. And the reason being is, well, there's been something that has a shocking discovery. We'll get to that in a moment. Finally, the pond. What I'm doing here, how I changed it, how I made it perfect, and how I'm adding on the biggest addition to it that I've ever done, and I don't even know how I'm going to do it. Let's start with the electric eel tank. This fish has quickly become one of my favorite fish, and even over my Asian arowana, maybe because he's relatively new. However, I'm still learning so much about him. But there is so much that I do know about him, obviously giving off an electrical pulse or shock of up to 600 volts of electricity. I've personally felt it. I've learned that they prefer a substrate and they also need one. A planted tank's not going to work simply because he's going to rip it all out. If I provide him with a cave system, we're never going to see him, but standing log seems to be where he's most happy. And no matter what, he likes his shrimp. But we can add a lot into it, and he's going to eat all of it. What's interesting about this is most of his organs are actually located in the top 20% of his body. The rest are just his electrical shock. So even though I'm offering, a half a pound of shrimp, he can definitely get it down. He views this as his food and not the little barbs that I added to the aquarium to test if he would eat them. There was 5, he did eat 2 by accident, but I've learned if I don't feed him in the dark, he won't go as crazy for food. And if he's going crazy for food, he'll go after everybody. However, if he's not going crazy for this food, he leaves the barbs alone. Why am I testing barbs when with a predator anyways? Just turn these lights on, so he's getting a little weird on me. Let's dim him down. He's a little shy as soon as I turn the lights on, but eventually he will eat all of it. This guy has quickly, like I said, become one of my favorite fish, if not the. He's just so interactive and so really fun to have as a pet fish that I've decided or have been contemplating about building him a much larger aquarium and adding a school of small tetras or something to it, because these guys have been in here for almost 2 months. But given that he can eat so much food means he's going to produce a massive amount of ammonia. Given the fact that he's also one of my favorite fish and he's scaleless, this means pretty much one thing. What goes in must come out. He's going to produce a massive amount of ammonia, and that ammonia needs to be treated with the filtration system that we have on here. He is an air breather, so I'm not necessarily worried about oxygen content in the aquarium if in the event of a power outage something happens, like there. He just went up and gasped a breath of air, and he's got folds in his mouth that helps him kind of like dilute that oxygen throughout and distribute it throughout the rest of his body. But what if power goes out and he's producing that amount of ammonia, an incredible amount of waste, and he's a scaleless fish. Scaleless fish, as we know, are far more susceptible to ammonia, an ammonia burn, than scaled fish. Scaled fish, number one thing I would focus on is if the power goes on, oxygenation of the aquarium, then obviously running the filtration if you can. Like I said, he'll come eat it all. He's just a little worried with all the lights and stuff. Just turn them on. But like I said, if I don't turn the lights on then feed him, he'll go after the tetras thinking they're food as well. But I learned that by losing 2. But it's a test that I need to know. I don't want to add him to a massive tank that I'm going to build and then add a bunch of tetras, then he just eats them all. Now we know he won't. However, in the event of a power outage, a number of things happen, especially with the filtration. First things first, the beneficial bacteria, which is an aerobic bacteria, meaning oxygen-loving, meaning that this type of bacteria, the Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter, need oxygen to oxidize the ammonia into nitrite and then into nitrate. So when we are dealing with a power outage and we lose power to our filters, immediately that bacteria starts to die. And usually within 24 hours, and you know what I'm talking about, a canister filter, for example, once you pop that open after a power outage of 1 or 2 days, it just reeks like something died. And something did die. All of your beneficial bacteria. So one of the things that I'm going to do for him, because I am worried about power outages, everybody else out here is fine. The 2,000 gallon is so big with such little amount of fish, I'm not worried about anything like that. The 375 with the Asian arowana, same idea. It's attached to the 2,000, plenty of water dilution, plus it's on a drip system. This is the only fish out here that if a power outage happens for longer than, let's say, 12, 24 hours, he's in serious trouble. So here's what happened recently. Let's wait, he's gonna come eat some more. He's a pig. Now look at his bulging gut. You could just fit so much food in him. We're gonna run him on a battery backup system. Just his tank, although I've used these in the past on specific aquariums when the power goes out, because I have a whole house generator for this, but by the time I unplug it, by the time I get it up and going, sometimes the power's already back on, while at other times it's only out for about a day anyways. So this has been a life-saving type of investment with the other ones that I have, but this is one I've been waiting to get my hands on because of how affordable, yet how powerful these are. Look how pretty that is. Ooh, very smooth. This is the EcoFlow DELTA 3 Classic. We can look at it immediately and see that we have a couple of grounded plugs, a regular plug, but we also have USB-C and another USB-C, and then a regular USB-A plug. Charge your devices. I do that with mine anyways. Even if I'm running an aquarium, I plug my phones in and it keeps running it. I'm not sure if any of you guys know how these work though. It doesn't mean the aquarium's going to run off battery power at all times. It means that my aquarium's going to be plugged in into this, and if the power shuts out, this immediately takes over. So if we want to charge it, we have a couple options. Plug it into the wall and charge it that way, or you can get solar panels so you have constant power, but I do like the fact that this just flips up. Anyways, watch this. So obviously this won't be its final placement. I'm probably gonna get one of my cinder blocks outside and toss this on top of it just in case of a flood out here, because for some reason I love flooding it. And you're also gonna be wondering, like, Joey, it seems like you knew how to work one of these right out of the box and everything that it does. Ooh, this is so satisfying. Man, this thing is clean. It's because they are simple and easy to use, and I've had other brands that cost 3 times as much as this, but after some research, so I'm gonna plug it in. Actually, we don't need to plug it in right now. Let's just see if it came charged. Yeah, it does. So we're only at about 30%. It does need to get charged, but at 0 wattage, we're gonna get 12 hours. But I'm already using these types of systems anyway. So we're gonna plug it in to the wall like normal, so it can charge, right? There it goes, immediately starts charging. I'm offering it anywhere between 500 and, probably about 500 watts. It peaked at 700, but 500 watts charging it. And it looks like it'll be charged in an hour. Damn, this one's easier than the last one I had. It offers me a little over 1,000 watts of continuous power, meaning if I have something that's 100 watts, I could plug it into this and run it for 10 hours. Without it being plugged into the wall. But I want to run my filtration off of this because it's literally the thing I'm worried about the most. And this is a Fluval FX6, so we'll see how much power it's going to consume, because it literally says it. That's it. Turn it on. So nothing's turned on right now. And this is how easy it is. Plug it in, turn it on. It also has an app that you can track everything, adjust it. I haven't gone through it just yet. But for me, I plug things in, I set it and forget it. The filter is using 60 watts. Now the response time on this is something like 0.3 seconds or something like that, meaning when the power goes off, this switches over to it immediately. Now you would think, why don't you plug your lights in as well? It's not a planted tank. I'm not too worried about it. My filtration is the #1 thing. It's a support system. And this is going to be like its defibrillator. Like if the power shuts off, this is going to keep it running. Now let's simulate a power outage. We're going to unplug it from the wall. And the filter's still running. I'm curious if the filter stops even for a second. You guys gotta see that. Okay, filter plugged in. Now I'm going to unplug the battery pack from the wall, and you'll see the response time of how fast it switches from the wall power to the battery. You heard that beep off, eh? See that? Nothing. That was super fast. So right now we're drawing 60 watts, which is about right. And we've got 32% power remaining. I'm gonna connect it to the app. So you can connect it to your Wi-Fi, and then these will be your couple of different choices for homepage. I'm gonna do that one. Got like a little wavy juice mark thing. So I'm at 32%, and we're just on Bluetooth right now. We're using 63 watts of power, so it has 1,024 watt hours. We're at 32%. The battery's currently at 18 degrees Celsius. I don't need to know that. Some people like to know that stuff. But in this little thing, if you look closely, it tells you how much time you have left. And it says this filter is going to be run for at least another 6.5 hours with only 32%. So obviously this could run this filter for at least 20 hours at 100%. I love the idea that I could do Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I rarely have ever seen that with any of the other battery packs that I have. But now, at any given moment, I can tell if my filter's on, if the power's out, if we're using this. I'll know a lot of other things, no matter where I am at in the world, especially once I connect this to Wi-Fi, knowing that I'm going to keep this fish alive no matter what. However, here's the thing. What if the power's out for longer than 20 hours that this is going to run that filter? I mean, I could run the lights. I could run everything on this tank and probably do it for about 12 hours. Does everything need to be running for 24 hours continuously? No. So in that case, what I would do, I'd shut the power off at nighttime probably and turn it back on during the day. It says it cools down at night out here, more oxygen in the water and whatnot. And then at night, turn the heat back on, turn the power back on to it, and I'd get double. I'd get 40 hours of, I get 2 days or as many days as I want to run it, so long as I don't let it not run for continuous 24 hours plus. Okay, the piranha aquarium, the update on that. Everybody here in here is fine, but I'm going to feed them, and maybe you guys will see something else that occurs in this tank. Just give me a second. These piranha are absolutely insane. They've definitely put on size. We've had no indications of aggression or anybody fighting or anything like that. As of late, I was thinking somebody else might come out when I feed them because that's typically when it happens. But I was walking by the piranha tank one day, and you'll remember when this used to have a bunch of other fish in it. I'm walking by, and the piranha are all in the tank, and then I see this other fish just hanging out with them, defending its territory. A yellow acara. I missed one when I took everybody out. But he's doing fine in there. He hides most of the day and comes out when he wants to, and usually when I feed, he's not coming out right now, so maybe they eventually got him. But it was so shocking to see him in there, and there was nothing I could do. I can't get in there and catch him or anything like that, but they were leaving him alone completely, and so long as these guys are fully fed, I'm pretty sure they'd leave other fish alone, and that's why I've seen stingrays and arowana, a bunch of other types of fish with the piranha. But one of the things that I want to do is I want to get probably I'm really leaning towards a really fast-moving fish like giant dania or something like that. Oh, do we have breeding back there? Yeah, these guys will begin breeding here shortly. The sand is definitely a must. They'll create a depression in the sand and kind of lay their eggs there. But this is what they're like all day long. Absolutely active and stunning. This tank is beyond any past expectations that I had that maybe they would just hide, but a lot of people thought they would just hide. However, this is what we're looking at every single day. Now, I do have some friends that are traveling here from all over the world here this summer. Like we kind of almost do every year. I stay home and then people come to me, and then when it gets cold and I want to go somewhere, I travel the world or wherever they're at and visit them type of thing. I wonder if any of them will get in this aquarium. Just get in it and walk from one side to the other and get out. I can't have Gordon do it because he got his finger amputated last time he messed with these guys, but man, what a tank. What an aquarium. I don't know about the Aquara or what I'm going to do, but it was so funny to see him in there. And one of the things that made me nervous about him the most was like he almost attempted to lip lock with a piranha, like cichlids do to test strength and to defend territory. I wouldn't want to lip lock with a piranha. Remember the all that shrimp that we fed the electric eel? It's almost all gone. He's got 3 little pieces left. But this is him over here. And he's lifted up off the substrate because of his enormous belly. Coming up for breath. Like that. And he'll do this every single day. Massive, massive waste producer. I have a feeling he's going to look for more right now. But that's why this battery pack was super necessary. Super quiet too. Can't hear a thing. It's already at 39%. These charge fast. We've been lucky to have a lot of nice weather so far this May that I'm about a month ahead on the yard. Everybody knows you got to get into the yard work. But the yard this year was such a mess because I had made so many adjustments and changes to the gallery. And during the winter, I kind of have to just pile things up until the summer comes or the spring and everything thaws out and there's not 4 or 5 feet of snow to walk through. And I start cleaning it up. I did save all my cinder blocks, and we're going to get to that in a second because we're going to use those to build something that I've always wanted to have. Never did it because I was scared to do it, but now I have all the materials and it's starting to make sense to, Joey, just do it, and I know exactly where we should build it. But let's talk about the pond first. So you'll have to ignore the surface of the pond. It kind of looks like it's got this milky stuff all over it. That's all pollen and all these leaves. They're like flowers that the trees are letting go. I've had to slowly kind of try to remove them, but over the past few days, we've had a massive amount of pollen dumped everywhere. It's on everything. It's probably just that time of year. So last year I was struggling with this pond for a couple of reasons. One, there was some settling, and because of that, the pond never looked level anymore, like truly flat. Now, I've never built anything like this before where it's supposed to be level with the ground kind of thing. I had to make some adjustments, and I killed a bit of the grass a few days ago, but I planted seed. It'll come back. This all used to be dirt here, remember? But this little deck here used to be over there. You can see where the dirt is. I wanted to put it here so you could like sit on it or put your feet in it, plus have a bit of fake plants and that sort of thing around it. So that was a big change. The other thing was level out all these blocks and kind of bring them up a little bit better. And then I'm going to wait probably a couple more weeks to see if there's any more settling or anything like that. And then I'm going to raise the water level, and you can see it's almost perfectly level all the way around. And the water will go right up to the bricks. So it's going to look super, super cool. The other thing that I added in, you can maybe see it through the reflection here, maybe not. Yeah, you can. What do you think that is? So I had to take this all apart. I took all the bricks apart. I took the liner completely out. And underneath here, I built a bench. So this is all cinder blocks, 2 and 3 high. So that when you get in, or you step in, there's only 16 inches of water, 18 inches of water, and then you step down to 40 inches, but you can also sit on it. Now, this is currently being chlorinated, but I believe it's going to be probably next year that I'm going to stock this with fish once again. And I think I know the fish I want to do, and I'm going to be able to keep them in here year round. No, it's not goldfish. No, it's not koi. Goldfish would be kind of cool, fancy ones, but they wouldn't survive the summers here because this will freeze almost completely. I'm going to heat it slightly and whatnot, but the filter is a dream. Let's take a look at that, which I've now put the filter on a timer because my power bill is completely and totally out of control. the way this works is we have a small pump down here. It's not a small pump, it's like 3,500 gallons an hour. It's only around 3,000. I don't actually know how many gallons is in here. I never calculated it. But it's 16 feet this way, 11 feet this way, 40 inches deep. So I guess I could just quickly do the math. But we have a large pond pump at the bottom that's pumping water up into here. It comes up through here, goes into here, but also we have a bit of a return there, so we can have the top of this like waterfall kind of dripping. Anyways, it's gonna go through a massive amount of lava rock and then sand at the top, which is fluidized. So it's already ready for aquatic life, but also works fantastic for regular pools. Has like dual purpose. As the water comes out, now you can start seeing the flow. Here, watch this. It's just flying out of here. And overflows back into it. Obviously, it's probably not enough flow, and I'm gonna build another one, but that other one's gonna have to go over here because I'm building something over here. So don't pay attention to my garbage area. We've all got one, but look at all these cinder blocks. There's about 100 of them here. And each one cost me like $5 or $6. So I just didn't see the purpose. And some of them are painted black, some are white because we use them for stands and whatnot. But I have so many of them. And oh yeah, I have something else. Remember the 16-foot long tank? Yeah, it used to be blue on the inside. That's epoxy. I still have the panels, 1 inch thick. I got to clean them up, obviously, and I haven't gotten to that just yet, but it's really not going to be that bad. I'll probably just scrape off all the silicone and sand it and whatnot. But can you guess where I'm going with this? Let me know in the comment section right now. Pause the video and tell me if you know what I'm about to build. And I want it to go right here. See that deck right there? That's 8 feet long and about 3 feet wide. I want to take those cinder blocks and I want to build or dig 8 inches down into the ground, right? Remove all of the soil, and then I want to line it with cinder blocks, which are 8 inches tall. I'll cement the 2 more blocks on top of those, making it 24 inches tall total, which doesn't sound like a lot, right? But it's only 16 inches out of the ground. I'll fill it with concrete and whatnot, and then I'll line it, probably with a pond liner, but first I'm going to insulate it with styrofoam. The acrylic, the front panel, will go right here, and it will sit level with the grass. I might put it back 2 feet because I kind of need this barrier, but this is all clay. It's super, super strong. And this is already kind of level, so it's gonna be relatively easy to do. But I want that viewing panel to be right here. And then we're gonna have another extension of the pond up here with its own filtration. I could turn it into an overflow where it overflows into here. I thought I was just gonna build a small one and do it here, but I was like, no, let's go big and let's put a viewing panel in it. Attaching the viewing panel, if I use a pond liner, is gonna be relatively challenging. Digging all this up, getting the mortar, get all those bricks. It's a lot of work and it's challenging, but I think that's kind of why I wanna do it. Plus it's so unique. It's not that unique, you see them all the time. Like ponds, cement ponds with a viewing panel is not that crazy of an idea, but I don't have one. And I want one. So imagine it here, the viewing panel's on this side. So we could have a feature fish in it, and we can go sit over here on chairs or something, and maybe this is filled. I just think it'll be really cool. Now on this side of it, and it's gonna be, so it'll be 10 feet long, 4 feet wide, and only 2 feet tall, because it's going 8 inches down into the ground. No, 16 inches off the ground, so, and 2 feet down. The viewing panel, we'll see the grass, and it's just give me time. And try to visualize this with me. Filtration will be over here, and I'm going to surround it with big trees and maybe a pergola, but definitely lights all over it, like little not pixel lights, like yard lights. Yeah, and that'll be really cool. The other things that I worked on out here in the yard, look at what the crows did to here. I'm replanting it and rewatering it and stuff, but it doesn't take them long to absolutely destroy the yard. Look at it. Look what they did. Relatively normal, crows. So it'll grow back. It's May. We don't really grow a lot of grass right now. I brought my horseshoe pit back. I know a lot of you guys in the States play that game where you throw a beanbag into a hole. Well, in Canada, especially, I lived at PEI for a little while too, we play horseshoes. Well, I play horseshoes. Others do ring toss and stuff like that. I don't know. I like horseshoes the best. Made my fire pit look a little nicer. And again, don't look at all my garbage and build up. Imagine it all cleaned. I need more time. I've only been working on this for like a week or so, but it's gonna look amazing, especially with this addition here. And look, the ground is flat. It makes perfect sense to go right here. It's not perfectly flat, but it's flat enough. Anyways, that's what I've been working on lately and what's been going on. I gotta put in a lot of work into the gallery lately because I gotta bring back that racking system, but I'm gonna bring it back with a twist. I think I want it fully automated. I don't want to be doing water changes out there because even those 15-gallon flower horn tanks were manual water changes and they would take an hour, but like I don't want to do that because it takes 3 minutes to drain, 3 minutes to fill, and then you have no time to sit down. You're just sitting there holding a hose the whole time. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video and this generalized update. I'm probably going to work on this a little bit more. Maybe I'd like to get it done this month or at least in June because the concrete's going to take about a month to fully cure. Or not fully cure, but be cured enough. But if you want to see any of this, guys, make sure you subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.